Welcome. We're getting started today. Today's session is going to be about. I'm going to fix that camera right away. Don't worry about it. I'm working on that. We're talking about this idea that we can do things without considering, what other people, other countries are doing in the world. This comes to mind, or it's our present day status, because of this thing going on in Iran, Iraq, and President Trump's response to the supposedly the Iranian leader's response to the killing of this, what is generally here at least regarded as a terrorist killing, and really what should be our stance. Now, it's clear where Pelosi and I believe most of the Democrats are leaning this day. Um, we're going to take a look at an article here at what is this? NBC News, NBC. Let's take a look at this article over here. And that'll be our basis. Pelosi announces war powers resolutions as tensions with Iran escalate. And we see here it's intended to limit President Donald Trump's military actions after he ordered the killing of a top Iranian general last week, escalating tensions with Tehran. As we all should know, if you don't know this already, any president can do practically anything with the military for at least 30 days. And that gives the Congress, it's legal for him to do that, by the way. He can do anything. He can start a war if he wants to. He can start attacking. He can fire off missiles. He can have a titty fit and let the missiles go if he wants to. And Congress has up to 30 days, I believe, to either declare war, in other words, to be in agreement with the president, or to not declare war and call everyone back home and blah, blah, blah. But basically, the president of the United States at any time can do anything militarily and without any permission. He doesn't need permission to do that. That's his job. The president has one of his job responsibilities is to keep America safe and Americans safe. The primary also responsibility of the United States is to defend Americans, no matter where they are in the world. The American nation is supposed to defend and protect us anywhere we are located in the world. So you have to also understand that it's not an issue where America as a government cannot or should not respond when an American is attacked or is held captive or dies or is killed actually by anyone else or by a country in particular. Then the American government has to do something. It's their responsibility. So we have to understand how things are supposed to work in this world, and particularly how the U.S. government is responsible, and again by law or by mandate, to defend Americans. Something that hasn't been done in relatively recent history before the Trump administration, in particular, as recent memory will, give us. Americans were under attack during the Obama administration. It's not nothing against Obama. It's just simply just historical facts here that during his administration, the attacks were made on American embassies. So a similar one, I think we all know about Benghazi and all that. And no response was made, at least not a commensurate with the type of attack that was brought to American interests or American property in that case in terms of the embassy. But really, even if some country authorized through their officials any type of attack on even an individual citizen of the United States, the United States has the power and the authority and the responsibility, in fact, to respond to that in like manner. And again, we have to look at certain terms. You got to look at what is the correct way to respond, right? So anyway, let's look at the article. Trump's this is in again NBCNews.com politics the politics and national security department. Pelosi announces war powers resolution. Look for that. It's also on Google's news page. So if you look at Google News, you should be finding that as top news right now. So last week, the Trump administration conducted a provocative and she says disproportionate military airstrike. You know, the issue is what's the disproportionate? What is she referring to? What is the disproportionality here? What are the things that are being disproportionate? That's just something we're throwing out there as a word to trigger, I guess, people. Oh, that was disproportionate. Disproportionate to what? What is the disproportionate comparison here? If this fellow was involved at any time, see that at any time with attacks on Americans, even one American, this person was this disproportionate. Now, we have to consider who this person is. This person is a general, so he is an official, military official, high official of the Iranian government. So if this person ever, as in such a role, committed attacks on Americans or American interests, assets, and or embassies, even individuals, then he's in the role of the government. He's a government official. He's a military branch of the government, and therefore, military is supposed to follow orders, right? Again, what is disproportionate? Because if this guy has a uniform on and he's doing things against Americans, and in this case, as it is reported, purported to have been planning further attacks on American interests and on Americans, obviously, then what does disproportionate mean? This is the thing we have to understand, because this is, again, a government official. This is someone that is working under the command of a main leader in Iran. Because I don't believe that Iran does not have control of its military. I mean, when our military do things, they do things under orders. You don't have general this or general that over there just doing whatever they want to do without the president giving the okay, right? We don't have that here. And then no military, I think that no military on this planet operates that way. So if this general did things and participated, and right now was participating in things that were going to target Americans, then what is this? And this is the government of Iran here. So what is disproportionate now? See, so again, the Democrats, again, we did some studies on deception. And so you have to look at where deceptions lie. And in this case, the deception is going to be very keen or very tied into the words being used. And right here, disproportionate. Disproportionate. That's a very key word there. And that is where the deception can, and I present to you, has occurred in this case. It says here, Pelosi said in a letter to colleagues Sunday, this action endangered our service members, diplomats, and others. You mean like contractors? Are contractors others? American citizens, maybe others? Is that the others? I'm just trying to check. by risking a serious escalation of tensions with Iran. So let me get this straight. Iran, through its proxies and through its general here, starts attacks on the U.S. Embassy and on other Americans. An American dies, a contractor, okay, in fact, dies because of these attacks. And then we're the ones risking a serious escalation. Wasn't that what they were doing first? Whoever killed an American, says an American's dead right now. An American was killed. So whoever did that, weren't they the ones who were risking a serious escalation of tensions with the U.S.? Or doesn't the U.S. matter anymore? So we're not of concern here. It's only Iran. We have to be concerned with Iran. Oh, we're risking escalating with Iran. We're not concerned with Iran escalating with us. That's not a concern to Nancy Pelosi. It's not a concern to Democrats. So what are you saying? Are you saying that everyone, I mean, this is the reason why Putin and North Korea and China laugh continually at the U.S. Because we have some intelligent people on the left who are afraid of hurting the feelings of Iranians and of other nations who are risking escalating with the U.S. We're afraid, these guys are afraid of responding to these risks of escalation, which obviously they don't care about. They're not thinking about that. They're not worried about that because, of course, they have people like Nancy here who is defending them, who, after they do whatever they want to do with us and against Americans and kill how many Americans they want to kill, they know Nancy. Nancy will say something. Nancy will come to our defense and say, oh, we can't risk escalating. We can't risk escalating. You see how we are showing these other countries, instead of showing them strength and unity. Of course, this leader here of the Democrats and the liberal side of thought processing, she is emitting this message that, we don't want to hurt you. We don't want to put things in order. You guys can do whatever you want to do. We will not do anything. We are not doing anything. We're not going to respond. And this is a common thought. Even the Russians have this thought. They had it with Obama, who was the head of the Democratic Party, right? The leader there, the Democratic president in the White House, who, when Russia annexed Crimea, he didn't do anything. When Syria advanced and did their atrocities and ISIS did whatever they did, he didn't do anything. And whatever he did do was nothing because it didn't result in anything except for their growth and that debacle in Syria and with ISIS. Trump had to come in and clear that thing out, reset the game board, which is what he did. But here you go. This is the thinking process. Now, I'm not going to condemn the thinking process here, folks. Let me tell you something. You know what? I appreciate people with a brain. Simply. So let us converse. Let us sit and reason together like the Word of God says. And tell me then, what is the United States supposed to do in a world where some administrations send money, even their own money? It doesn't matter. Sending money to empower a regime like the Iranians, let's say North Korea, for just argument's sake, let's say Russia, let's say China, make it easy for China, reduce the tariffs and eliminate them. And why are we making life impossible for the Chinese and all of this? And let us include their Cuba and all those things from our historical background. And just allow, how does allowing all these countries to continue developing weapons of mass destruction, how does that make Americans safe? I'll give you some time. We don't have all that much time, by the way. The problem we're having in this world, and it's going to come to a head, folks. There's no way out of this box here. No matter how fast they develop, Mars colonization technologies, there is no way out of this box anytime soon. And what we have here is a tinderbox. Okay? What happens is that the Democrat and liberal mindset defends to leave these countries alone. Let them develop their weapons. Let them have their nuclear weapons. After all, we have. Why can't they have? And let's all live in peace. Somebody has this concept, by the way, that they don't allow American citizens to enjoy. The concept of having let everyone have a weapon is not what you guys, Nancy, it's not what you preach here in the U.S. Yet you want Iran to have weapons. And you don't want us to use anything or to defend ourselves when they use their weapons against Americans, their strategies, their generals to plan and plot attacks. You don't want the U.S. to defend itself. Just like, hey, I don't get it, because do you want us to disarm? Shouldn't we go there, Nancy? Do you want the U.S. to disarm? How many of you Democrats want the U.S. to disarm? I'm just asking, because I see no point in all of this issue. If you're not promoting disarmament, then what are you doing? Because allowing the Iranian regime and the way it is, in its form and antagonism against the West, allowing them to continue to develop weapons of mass destruction, is a definite World War III in the planning. So I'm trying to figure out, what are you guys thinking about? Because I can understand, hey, living in peace and harmony with the world. But having all the world with weapons of mass destruction is not going to be that way, is it? Is it? I'm asking. You guys don't believe that, do you? Because see, here's where we have the dishonesty. See, our Republicans, we're not dishonest about our weapon keeping. See, but we're going to use weapons. We don't have weapons for display on a wall. The weapons are going to be used. Okay, when the moment comes, when push comes to shove, those weapons are going to be used, right? And again, what do you expect the Iranians to do with their weapons of mass destruction? What do you expect North Korea to do with weapons of mass destruction? China, Putin, and Russia. What do you expect these men and these governments to do with weapons of mass destruction? You think all of these countries, I can accept Russians have a brain, they play chess, they play very well. They wouldn't want to destroy the whole planet. They're shooting themselves in the foot. I can understand that. I can understand that the Chinese are bright too. Hey, they can. Hey, we don't want to destroy ourselves. We don't got to shoot ourselves in the foot. But the Korean, the Iranian religious guy over there, who would rather end the world because the world doesn't submit to his view of righteous living in the eyes of Allah. Is that the one that we have to what, appease and expect to not be willing to escalate, to take a risk and escalate? Well, what have they been doing up to now? So it doesn't seem sensible, or at least it's not a thread of reasoning going on with Nancy and with the left. It seems to be irresponsible thinking at this point. It says that as members of Congress, our first responsibility, let's go back into that, our first responsibility is to keep Americans safe. Right, but you agree to let the Iranians have all this money so they can keep building weapons of mass destruction. It doesn't matter if it was their money. Some people make the point, it was their money. It belonged to them. Well, duh. Well, now what they use the money for is to make bombs so they can blow you up. Duh. You understand? And some people out there just don't have a brain to think with. Simply. I think you picked up a pile of doo-doo on the ground, you threw it in between your ears, and you think that's a brain. It's not working. For this reason, we are concerned that the administration took this action without the consultation of Congress. You don't have to do, and without respect for Congress's war powers. You have it. You have it. The war powers say that you have 30 days to declare war or not. Simple. But you see how they deceive the American population, especially the Democrats, are being fooled again into thinking that, oh, Trump did something wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. He's doing everything right. Now you do the right thing. And before you submit this Power Wars resolution from the House, why don't you take care of the previous business, the previous point of order, which is the impeachment declaration? Send it to the Senate first, because that you did already, and you're holding up everything. Why is that? Do your constitutionally authorized right, then send off those articles of impeachment already. Do that first, and then you can send your Powers Act. Ridiculous. So here you go again. This is how, the Republicans see this Democrat leadership as just foolish. And I know for a fact that there are a bunch of Democrats who have a brain that also see this. They admit to it. Many of you don't want to admit to it, but it's true. I mean, this is totally imbecilic. The way they are handling governmental affairs, again, is political. It's attending to your emotions. It's keeping people ignorant. As long as you're ignorant and vote Democratic, that's okay. This is what they're betting on. This is what the bet is right now. Okay, see, it says here, she said this. Look at what it says. It reasserts Congress's long-established oversight responsibilities by mandating that if no further congressional action is taken, the administration's military hostilities with regard to Iran cease within 30 days. Because what she's saying is this. At least she admitted that Trump has 30 days. He has 30 days to do whatever he wants to do. See, she's not telling you that. She's just framing it in a different perspective. So she's saying that it's reasserting Congress's right. How about reasserting Trump's right, the president's right to act in any way he deems is the best course of action given the information that only he receives from his military intelligence departments on what is the right action to take at any given moment, what are the consequences, and how we can respond to them. Um, why isn't that the assertion here? It's not saying that she has to, but the whole point is that this is the reality of the situation. So at least if you read it the right way, like you're supposed to do it as Americans with a brain, you can see here that Nancy's actually saying that the president has the responsibility, the power, and the right, according to the Constitution, to do whatever he pleases in terms of reaction to any type of attack on an American citizen or American interest, and has 30 days in which to get in, do the dirty, and get out. Okay, unless Congress says, you know what, this is a good thing that we are in this situation. We are going to declare war against so and so, and that's it. We're going to continue this after the 30 days. That's it. That's the power that Congress has. It doesn't have a power to limit any more power to limit the administration. And you see how she says it, that we are reasserting the long established oversight responsibilities. It's a limitation on the Congress's ability to stop the president from doing what only he knows is a necessity for 30 days. But you have to understand that the president has the power and the authority and responsibility. Why did they give him this power? Because he's the only one that's given the information. Secret, the highly classified stuff. He's the only one that would have this information. He's the only one that would have this information, and the only one who would be able to respond to this situation, to give the situation the appropriate response. He's the only one able to do that. There's no one else. Nancy doesn't even know the things going on that made Trump have to respond in the way he did, or decide, this is the smartest thing to do right now. We're going to stop this. It's his right and his responsibility. That's why the founding fathers made sure they gave the president the right to do things with 30 days, giving the Congress then in 30 days to look at it and to see if this is something we're going to continue to do or not. It has nothing to do with having Congress dictate if something is right or wrong. That has nothing to do with it. It has to do with, does Congress want this to continue for 30 days, after the 30 days? That's it. So the War Powers Act is simply a limitation on Congress for impeding the president on any action for 30 days. The president has 30 days. And it then gives the Congress the obligation. It's an obligation to either continue or to stop it. That's it. So the president, and this is good for that other countries, because since our country is ignorant of its own laws, other countries at least can know that a president, as he's trying to diminish the president's ability in the eyes of the world, but the president has the ability to wage war for 30 days. And as Trump has pointed out very succinctly, our boys have the best. He spent trillions of dollars in getting our military great equipment. You know what that means? Great equipment. Okay, there's surprises on the field of battle. People gonna be surprised. Don't play around. People gonna be surprised what they see when we let everything out the storage rooms. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So again, And it's not that we're going to roll it out with such a puny nation like Iran in terms of their military abilities and whatnot. That's nothing. That's a Sunday afternoon game. That is nothing. Iran is nothing. It's nada. Okay. Again, this is what the things that we have in the storage for the big day. And I know it's just like, I'm not going to say anything else. I'm just saying that this whole issue is silly politics. That's all it is. She knows it. She knows it. And Democrats that with a brain know it too. Okay? As simple as that. So, anyway, it's like I said. Yeah, you can read that article. It has some more background information, and so it's. Let's read some more here. Let's see. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else that particularly pops out at us here. So they're talking about notifications and this and that, but the bottom line is that the president has the authority and the responsibility. If you or me, either any one of us, you or me, we're attacked in another country, and somebody, that is a issue that's not a crime. In other words, that it's done by an authority of the other country itself. That's a national issue. That's not just a crime. That's not a mugging. It's not an accidental pass-by poisoning or anything like what happened in England with the Russian spy, the ex-Russian spy. You know, these are attacks. And that issue with Russian that spy, that's an attack on foreign soil, in Britain, on sovereign soil. That's outrageous. The same thing is the embassies. The embassies are foreign soil. They don't belong to the country that is hosting them. That is deeded to that country, and it is recognized as their authority in their domain right there. Their flag is risen over that embassy. That area and that campus is whatever country's flag is flying. So any attack that happens is an attack on the country. And you guys, you silly fellow Americans, I'm going to tell you something. If an embassy is attacked, it don't matter. It doesn't matter. If someone attacks an embassy of the United States, that's equivalent to having an attack happening in your backyard. It's equivalent of them attacking you and your home and your family. You have to stop it with the BS and get with it. You're going to lose this country with all this silliness and stupidity. When our embassies are attacked, that is your backyard. It is not someplace distant. It is not some other place you don't have to worry about. That is your home and your backyard. It is United States property. It represents your home and your country. So do not tell me that an attack on an embassy doesn't make you defend a reaction and a response by any president of the United States. It doesn't matter who. A response is warranted, and it should happen. It better happen. That you don't deserve it. If someone bombs your house, you don't want anyone to protest that. You don't want anyone to run in and rescue you. Just put a sign. Just let us know. It's just like the no call thing. We should pass a law. You dictate that your home, if someone attacks your home, invades your home, destroys you, comes in to shoot at you, to kill you, and you said it's okay when the police and when the military sees your home on the list, and this is a do not disturb home. This is a do not disturb my butt. So then that's it. They won't disturb your butt. But since we know that you're full of BS, right? We know that. That's why your argumentation falls on its face. Goodness sakes. Really silly. Really silly. Our country is under attack. And this kind of political maneuvering and BS is really what's destroying this country, and it's going to make attacking the U.S. a sport out there. Okay, and that's exactly what Trump is trying to stop. Trump is saving American lives because he's telling them right off the top, don't fool with the U.S. Don't fool with our embassies. Don't fool with our citizens. Don't mess with it. That's what Trump is saying. Okay? So I think all Americans should support that. You should. Because if you don't, you should put a sign in your house, let them bomb me, do not disturb. That's it. Then you can have at it. It's just incredible the type of thinking out there. But if that's what you like, you really should move to another country because you're putting us all into danger. It would be nice if they can just target your house and just wipe you off the planet. That would be great. But the fact is that when they're targeting you and that explosion blows up your house and your butt, it's also going to hurt the neighbors who have sense. And that's not right. So you know what you need to do? You need to pack and go. You need to pack and go to a country where they will allow your butt to be blown up because you don't believe in retaliation or responding. Okay, so your butt is up for target practice. They need it. ISIS needs target practice. Iran right now would love to have a bunch of Americans that they can have target practice with. So go volunteer here. I have my house here. You're in the country, in your country. You know they should put up an ad. We have free desert land in Iran for Americans who want to come and allow us to blow them up, so that you guys that are Democrats and liberals can stand up for your beliefs. I'm all for that. I have no. I'm all for that. That's a good thing. So go over there and let them have some target practice because they're going to need it. They're going to stop fighting with the U.S. They're going to need to practice a whole lot. So go over there. Stand behind your words. Okay, I'm going to be safe here in the U.S. and on embassy, and when I'm traveling, knowing that President Trump or whoever is the president has my back. Okay, that's how I travel. I don't travel not knowing if the government has my back or not. Then I won't travel at all. So that's that. I'll stay here in the U.S. So build me that wall. You guys leave. I want the wall, and I don't want anyone messing around with the U.S. property, its assets, its embassies, or anything. So that's it. That's the U.S. of America. And if you don't like that, you need to go to whatever country it is that you're trying to live in because it's not here. It's not the U.S. Take care. Have a great day. My goodness. Try to have a good day, can't you?